I really like the followers of the left-handed path, the hunters of hell. They stalk those primordial wild parts, hunting beasts, following ley lines to reach ancient shrines and worship beings the members of the court have forgotten, and haunt places so old they're now legend, even to the fallen angels. It's that mix of what we don't know, and that they are not of the court, they are older, like hunter-gatherers, going about their craft, and whatever rules isn't not that important to them. Maybe they served different hunters over time. So I wanted to do another video on them. We'll answer what that name means, who they might have aided in the past, and by what that name means I mean the left-handed path, and what they might have hunted. All theory and speculation for those parts. So, welcome back to the trenches. You are no longer alone. Walk with me in hell. So whoever they have served before the court, how did they do that without the gate to hell being opened? Well, there are more ways to hell than is known to mortals or fallen angels. The law tells us those of the left-handed path can traverse the paths of no man's land just as easily as the ways of hell. For the ley lines of hell are reflected upon the fallen creation, where the barriers between the worlds are weak. So I posit they can move between worlds, where those gaps are thin. They are old, remember, and those fallen angels need the gates to get through. So the law of the wild hunt really seems to apply to them. I theorise they may have taken part in that as hunters for different leaders over time, and the wild hunt law is deep and sprawling. In a nutshell, the Britannica tells us the usual story associated with the wild hunt involves someone excessively fond of the chase who makes a rash pledge or compact with a stranger, sometimes the devil, which would fit for us, and is thus doomed to hunt forever. Whether this be elves, if you like the Witcher games, which is how I'm familiar with them most recently, Herne the Hunter, if you like his myths, and Robin of Sherwood, or Odin or Woden from Norse myth. Them and many others have taken up the lead role as the head of the hunt. The law around the concept covers North, West and Eastern Europe societies. Many threads of it were brought together by a fellow called Jacob Grimm, yes, one of the brothers Grimm, behind many famous folk stories. So that's what they might have been doing all this time, working for various deities going back. But what did they hunt? They wear the pale skins of the stargazing oracle beasts that wander the burning plains of hell in great herds. The eyes of the oracles are alive, even after their death, and watch out for the new master that wears their skin as a cloak. So that speaks of animals and supporting wildlife and so on within hell. But when they come over to serve the wild hunt, who do they hunt? We know they have a reason. If it's not aiding others, they need sacrifices to power their goetic magic, which is based on pain and suffering. Mortals being the sweetest. In the law it says the hunter mocks the fate of its mortal prey, dragging it to slavery in the court, but he uses playthings whose pain and suffering elevates the infernal magic of its new masters. Here are the best things I could find they might have hunted. In European folklore, the souls of the dead, or people who have been wicked and would have high goetic magic. And what about that name, the left-handed path? On learningreligions.com we learn the left-handed path is considered to be about the elevation and centrality of the self, as well as the rejection of religious authority and societal taboos. The left-hand path focuses on the strength and will of the practitioner. It downplays the need for intercession by any higher power, although some may believe that a higher power exists. I think that aligns pretty well with the hunters, who don't exactly come running when the court wants them, and the left-handed path is considered something the Morning Star would love. I look at it as being a rebellious, independent punk outlook, independent of others, wants and needs, but serving your own. Now try to think of who the left-handed path might have worshipped. Ancient beings older than those, such as the court, who now have power over large parts of hell. So for possible examples, I've looked at old religions and tried to look at the first god, the primordial one. That has possibilities, as to me, those of the left-handed path wouldn't worship the same as humanity. They would worship those who created the gods that humanity came to worship. So we'll go through a few examples now. They're taken from various sources, but I'll quote them when I can. In Egyptian myth, the Og-Doad consisted of 4 frog-headed male gods and their serpent-headed female counterparts. This divine group represented the dark, watery unknown and eternal state of the cosmos prior to creation. These 8 gods existed within the watery chaos of pre-creation. Within this unchanging nothingness, there was the potential for creation. For these 8 gods came a cosmic egg, or should I say, from these 8 gods came a cosmic egg that contained the deity responsible for creating the rest of the world, including the primeval mound, the first land to arise out of the waters of pre-creation. So I'm leaning into the early creation and chaos parts there. That just feels right for this group to me. I imagine at least they operate in different groups, a hunter-gatherer style society, and that they gather what they need from the wilds of hell and continue to move and hunt and pay homage to their gods. Next we turn to Greece and Tartarus, a primordial entity within some takes on Greek myth. In worldhistory.com we are told, in Greek mythology, Tartarus is best known for Hesiod's theogony, as one of the first beings to come into existence in the universe, and also at the start of the entombment for the monsters, the Titans, and in later myths. At the beginning of the universe, there was chaos. Chaos was personified as a female primordial deity, and was closely followed by 3 other entities emerging independently from chaos: Gaia, who represented Earth, Eros, who represented desire, and Tartarus. Hesiod describes Tartarus as a vast chasm, both dismal and dank and a place of decay. This feels the most likely as we have Greek references within the lore, and I can imagine the followers of the left-handed path paying homage to some creature with no shape, quite small in size but with a sense of vastness about them. They never hear from him, but feel the need to respond to it, to give it, to feed it souls and bodies. And finally, there had to be one of these. I'm going to go with Cthulhu. The creature is described as a vast monster of vaguely anthropoid outline, but with an octopus-like head, whose face was a mass of feelers, a scaly, rubbery-looking body, prodigious claws on hind and forefeet, and long, narrow wings. It is said to be so terrible to behold that it destroys the sanity of those who seek it. Cthulhu is characterized as the priest or leader of the Old Ones, a species that came to Earth from the stars before human life arose. The Old Ones went dormant and their city slipped under Earth's crust beneath the Pacific Ocean. They communicate with humans by telepathy, and in hidden corners of the world, uncivilized people remembered and worshipped Cthulhu in rites described as loathsome. What made me go to Cthulhu was a mention of sacrificial altars as used to pay homage to the Old Ones within the wild edges of hell, where the followers of the left-handed path might worship some of them. Though I admit some of the more tentacled Old Ones might be more appropriate. So those are my ideas. Let me know your comments, and if you like this video on the Trench Crusade, why not try this one? And if you want a whole bunch of videos on the Trench Crusade, I have a playlist.